All right, today we're digging into something pretty amazing. We're talking about one of the oldest, most basic building materials in the world, the simple clay brick, and how it's being turned completely on its head. This isn't just a minor tweak, it's a huge technological leap, and it's happening right now in India.
2.5 times stronger. Just let that sink in for a second. That's the claim from the owner of this new factory. Not a little stronger, but a massive jump in quality. So you gotta ask, right? How on earth is that even possible? And what does it take to get there?
To really get why this new factory is such a total game changer, we first have to talk about the old way of doing things. I'm talking about the traditional brick kilns, or buttas, that have been the standard for, well, centuries.
Okay, so check this out. This slide tells a huge part of the story. Traditional kilns, especially in areas like the NCR, can only run for about 4 months a year. That's because of environmental rules. And if it rains, well, that short season gets even shorter. But this new factory, it's running 12 months a year. Rain or shine, it just keeps going.
And all these problems, they're like a domino effect. The heavy pollution from burning coal leads to those shutdowns we just talked about. The whole system depends on a massive amount of manual labor, but their work gets stopped by the weather. It's just a really unpredictable system that, in the end, produces a brick that's not always consistent.
And to really wrap your head around that labor issue, just look at this number. We're talking about 250 people. That is a huge, huge operation to manage, especially when you can only run it for a third of the year.
So faced with all of that, what do you do? Well, one company, Saga Bricks, decided, you know what? We're not just going to tweak the old system, we're going to throw it out and start over from scratch. And what they built is pretty incredible.
And this is the absolute key. They didn't build a better Bahata, they built a modern factory. It's a different category altogether. By running completely on electricity, there are 0 carbon emissions from the firing process. And get this, it's the first of its kind in India to get a proper industry license, not just a temporary kiln permit. That's a huge deal.
Now look, this didn't happen overnight, not even close. You can see the journey right here for the founders, Deepak and Nitik. They started just by selling bricks online way back in 2016. By 2019, they were flying around the world looking for the right tech. It took years to get approvals before they could even start building in 2023. It was a long, long road.
And yeah, a vision like that, it's not cheap. They invested a whopping 33 crore rupees. We're talking over $4 million US. That's the kind of skin in the game it took to bring this revolutionary idea to life.
All right, now for the really cool part. Let's go inside. We're going to take a virtual tour and see exactly how they turn a pile of clay into these super bricks. And get this, without a single human hand ever touching the product.
It is just a beautiful dance of automation. Clay goes in one end, gets crushed up, mixed with the perfect amount of water, then it's pushed through this thing called an extruder. From there, a giant robot arm swoops in, stacks the fresh bricks, and they start their journey through these long tunnels for drying and then finally for firing.
Okay, remember that extruder I just mentioned? Here's where the real magic happens. It uses a powerful vacuum to suck every tiny bit of air out of the clay. And the result? Well, the raw brick, before it's even been baked, is so incredibly dense that a 100-kilo person can stand on it and it won't even budge. Just think about that for a second. That's amazing.
So how do all these thousands of bricks move around? The whole place is basically a tiny, fully automated goods trade network. These trolleys, loaded with bricks, just glide along on tracks, moving from one station to the next. It's this constant, perfectly timed flow, 24/7.
So, you've got all this crazy investment, all this high-tech robotics. What does it all add up to? Well, the final results are, honestly, they're kind of mind-blowing, both in how many they make and how good they are.
100,000. That's how many finished, ready-to-go bricks this factory produces every single day. That kind of predictable, non-stop output is something the old Batas could only dream of. And if you zoom out and look at the whole year, that's over 3.6 crore bricks, or 36 million. That's an insane number. It's almost 6 times what a traditional kiln of the same size could produce in its short season. But maybe the most stunning change of all is this one right here. Look at the difference in manpower. You go from needing 250 manual laborers down to just 21 skilled supervisors who are basically just there to make sure the machines are happy. The entire nature of the work itself has been transformed.
Okay, this is all cool industrial tech, but why should you care? Well, If you live in a house built with these bricks, here's the deal. They're so dense that annoying dampness that creeps up walls, gone. The holes inside act as insulation, making your house literally 3 to 4 degrees cooler in the summer. And because they're all perfectly identical, builders use less cement. Oh, and you can get them made in pretty much any size, color, or shape you want.
This table just lays it all out, side by side. The difference is night and day. You're swapping dirty coal for clean electricity. A massive labor force for a small, skilled team. Tiny seasonal output for massive year-round production. It's just a total upgrade across the board, from a standard product to one that is stronger, safer, and better for the environment.
Okay, so we've seen what one factory can do. It's impressive, for sure. But what does this mean for the big picture? For a country like India that is building new cities, new homes, and new infrastructure every single day?
Because what we're really looking at here, it's so much more than just a better way to make a brick. This is a model for how entire industries can evolve. It's about moving from an old-school, polluting craft to a clean, sustainable, and super precise manufacturing process. It's proof that you can have progress and protect the environment at the same time.
And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? We've seen the technology, we've seen the process, we've seen the incredible results. So is this just one really cool factory? Or are we standing here watching the very first step in a revolution that's about to completely change the way India builds its future?